So our fish have already been sold, at least most of them. They're sorting them out, they're putting them in the bag. The buyer's over there, he's putting them in the car and taking them away. Look at the color of the water. It went from deep blue to light blue and here to a very light blue. You can see in the middle of the net, there's quite a few coming right over there. So we did hit a big group of them right over here. Take a look at the treasure. Here it is. We got 2 of these. The second one is over here. Fantastic catch. Let's get onto the big boat.
这边是红头，
红头对，
兰屿雅美族人所有飞鱼的文化，飞鱼的起源，怎么抓飞鱼，都是从这个村庄开始的，所以这个村庄非常非常的特别。现在做的动作呢，买主来买，我们一条一条算给他。
So our fish have already been sold, at least most of them. They're sorting them out, they're putting them in the bag. The buyer's over there, he's putting them in the car and taking them away. We're gonna keep a few for ourselves, but most of them are going to a buyer. And then of course the crew and the captain, they want their share as well.
先介绍一下哈，这个是我们的船长。今年60岁周耀东周先生。好，谢谢你，谢谢。今天很成功啊，李文好，李先生，谢谢你帮忙啊，真的。托你们的福啊，今天的渔获量蛮不错的。对，真的很好啊，谢谢。都超过60岁喽，真的看不出来。不得了啊！刚刚他在做这个动作哦，传统的习俗是没有刮鳞的飞鱼是不能带回家一定要在港口。为什么要刮？我们以前是地下屋，没有自来水，你看看这边全部都是鱼鳞的话，你如果把这个飞鱼带到地下屋，你在刮鱼鳞那个苍蝇会很多，然后旁边的邻居都会影响到。那个里面的东西，我们的肠子剥掉有没有？那是带回去杀。就是全家就要分工合作了。这是我们施贤荣，这位也是60岁的。今天最重要的观测所，你们看到前面绕来绕去有没有？这个是蓝色的翅膀那个很漂亮。So we have a few different species. This one I didn't notice before. Very blue, fantastic. Most of the fish have been sold. I'll show you over here. The guy's got them all ready. They're in the car here. They're all packed and ready to go. He's going to process them. So we caught about 450 fish today. So that's a pretty good catch. 好，可以啊，谢谢。So I'm getting lessons on how to scale it. You move the wing out of the way. And then you just use this device to scale it. 它有一个很关键重点是这个部分，鱼群中间这边，因为我们杀飞鱼的时候是这样杀，从这边杀，杀完杀过来，如果你的鱼鳞没有刮好，刀不好切，有时候可能会切到手，因为你最后还有一个动作要把头杀下去。There's one other thing to be careful of. This rear dorsal fin, there's poison in them. So these pointy things, you got to kind of watch them so you don't prick yourself with them because there is some poison in there. 那要不要帮忙 Peter？ 要不然我们到明天都在。这都你的事啊。没有啊，我觉得还给我逃避。So here's our share at the end, all scaled and cleaned. You can see we got a few different types in here, and we will go home and gut them. This is the share we got from the teacher, who was one of the crew on the boat. And it's very kind of his mother to help us prepare these in the traditional way so that we can ask them to be dried. She's going to dry them for one day only. That way they're softer. And we'll take them with us back to Taiwan and share them with our friends. Traditional ways, the women are not the ones who cut the fish. It's the men who gut them and do this part of the work. Her husband isn't here, so she is doing it as an exception because usually it is only the men that do that. 为什么是2道？
因为它这个比较薄，它这个背面是比较厚
OK
它都有一定的吃法或者做法。
So the next part is to take the eyeballs out and take the gills out and gut the fish. So that part of the work where they gut the fish is the lady's job. So she's doing another one to show us how to do it. You can see she's, even though it's a men's work, she's very skillful.
为什么要把这个洗干净呢？会有苍蝇会去舔，苍蝇最喜欢吃血了，不够干净会很脏。
对，
我们也不敢吃。
So this is the preparation of it. We're going to salt them later on. That's the next step. Hang them and salt them. Traditional way of cooking these was very simple, just in water. There were no spices. There was nothing else available on the island here. Salt and water.
晒这个鱼也是男生的工作哈。
Everything is very stipulated because this is a sacred fish to the people here, to the Yami and Tao people, and so it has to be handled in the right way. And every tradition needs to be followed to respect the fish. 晚上要不要拿下来？
我等一下就拿下来了。
一定要，是不是？
不能有露水。
拿下来放在哪里？
我放冷冻。我明天再晒。
那以前也是拿下来吗？以前
要拿下来要熏。
好，谢谢你。
不会不会。
很辛苦啊，谢谢。
不会。
We're taking a slow trip around the island so you can appreciate Orchid Island from the sea. Orchid Island is about 50 square kilometers in size, so it's not very large. But as we discussed before in previous episodes, it has 6 distinct boroughs, 6 areas. We're gonna circle all through those boroughs and you can take a look. There's only one other fishing harbor that is recognized by the Fishing Association here, and the rest are just places on the beach to launch the boat. The natural beauty of this island is fantastic. It's a volcanic island by its formation, and so there are many, many beautiful rock structures jutting out of the ocean. We're right outside Langdo Fishing Harbor. We're not going to go in because it's too small for us to go in, and there are people diving there. So this fishing harbor is more like a swimming pool in many ways. The only ones who go in here are dive boats, and I didn't see any in there earlier today. Another thing to note is because it's the flying fish season, which goes from March until June, there are a lot of traditions you're not supposed to do during this period. A lot of things you're not supposed to do. One of them in particular is swimming and diving. So there's a lot less people swimming and diving than there are usually. One of the things I like most about Lanyu Island is the formation of its mountains. Because of its volcanic nature, it seems to jut out of the sea. The highest mountain here, Hongtao Mountain, is just under 550 meters. So it's very tall considering the small size of this island. And there's no one place on the island that you can stand and see everything. Even from the lighthouse, you can only see part of the island because of its jagged nature. A lot of people like to take trips around the island and look at the very special volcanic rock formations. And I love looking at that too. As you look at them from the sea, or if you're taking a scooter around and looking at them, they're really worth stopping, looking at the caves, looking at their mystical shapes. It's something very unique to Lanyu Island, and I think it's fantastic. So this is the twin lions from the backside. You can kind of make it out there. There's the ears, there's one of them, and there's the other one there with the tail up. It's a completely different angle from here, but it also still works. Especially this one really looks like a lion's head. This is another example. This is Junjian Rock. It kind of looks like an army boat from one angle. I'm not sure from which angle. To me, it just looks like a bunch of rocks sticking out. But That's what that formation is. So along the route, if you travel by motorcycle or by sea, you will see formation after formation that has been given a name, and each one is curious and interesting as the next. Behind me is the famous Dongqing Secret Hole. This rock formation here that's kind of an arch. These things won't last for long, and in fact every year more of them degrade into the sea. But for now, if you have a chance to come see it, it is an amazing rock formation. The arch that looks out to the sea, or in our case, the arch that looks into land. Oh, whew. Bit of a shower. Oh, God. This is Dongqing Borough, and it also has a very small unregistered fishing harbor. We're not going to go in for two reasons. Number one, it's flying fish season, so we don't want to intrude on that. And number two, even if it wasn't, I'm not so comfortable going in. It's very, very small, and on both sides there's rock formations. What I want to point out to you is look at the color of the water. It went from deep blue to light blue, and here to a very light blue as we get shallower and shallower. The water here in Lanyu Island is so crystal clear and beautiful. It's just a pleasure to be here. You feel like you're in a tropical paradise. I think it's fantastic. Coming to Lanyu is always fantastic. Look at this place. It is so beautiful. This time, we had the pleasure of coming by boat and exploring Lanyu and Xiaolanyu with our own boat, traveling to the different boroughs, looking at the beach shores, and really learning more about the island from the sea. But the most important thing we did this time is that we had an opportunity to take part in part of the most sacred rituals of the island in terms of catching the flying fish. Every time I'm come here, I'm blessed by having an opportunity to learn more about this special place. One thing I will never forget, when the lady was preparing the fish and helping to clean them out for us, she said to me, you know, I don't know if following the old traditions makes a difference or not. But then she paused and she said, you know, they really do make a difference. If you don't follow these old traditions, some bad luck may come to you. It always comes around in a circle. So in that sense, sometimes the old ways really are the best ways. We will definitely be back to Lanyu Island because there are more interesting things to see here and more traditions of the Yami people that you should know. For now, tomorrow we're going to take our boat back to Taiwan. But as I said, this is not goodbye. This is see you later to Lanyu because we will definitely be back.